Well, good evening. It is now 6 o'clock and December the 19th. I call the town council meeting for the town of Greenville to order. If you would, please rise and join me in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we start the meeting tonight, I've been asked by the council to remind the public that who attend the meeting of the following request in an effort for us to allow us to conduct this business efficiently and friendly and orderly meeting. We ask that you not talk amongst one another in the audience while anything is going on, even if you think you're whispering to your neighbor. It's being picked up by our sensitive audio recording equipment, and it makes it very difficult for those that are coming behind to try to do comments and listen to the tape when you have all that interference. So please try not to talk amongst yourselves, even though you think you're being quiet. Our system is picking you up. We ask, we've had problems with people hearing in the back. So starting tonight, if you speak to the council, we ask that you come to the microphone, state your name for the record, and then go ahead and speak into the microphone so everybody can hear you. Remind you that public comment is limited to 3 minutes and is not designed as a question and answer session. Others in the audience are asked not to comment or ask questions of the person, to respect their 3 minutes and not interrupt them while they're speaking. Okay? All right, so thank you. I look for approval of the December 5th, 2024 meeting minutes, and those of you that have had the opportunity to review it. Make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of December 5th, 2024. All in favor? Opposed? Ms. Jamie Beach.
That was quick.
Quick, and I know you can't.
Thank you for the latitude of being able to sit. And do you want me to break into song while I'm singing here? I apologize if I sing, but nobody would want to hear that right now. Again, thank you very much for the latitude. I'm here tonight to answer any questions or have a discussion of questions or things you might need answered from Caroline County Recreation and Parks with respect to the shared use agreement that we have asked for your blessing on with respect to using the wastewater treatment entranceway as a shared use for the hopefully eventual development of North County Park. Before I get into that, I do want to just say thank you to all of you for this consideration. Caroline County obviously is small and rural and sometimes without resources, and being able to build a legacy park like this is going to be an incredible asset to not just to Caroline County, but, even regionally speaking, but to everybody in this room. It's a park that without the support of the town of Greensboro, we just could not do. And I think the benefits from that are just going to be endless, to be able to build the kind of park that we want to build. But we also want to be good partners. And that means that the town of Greensboro needs to be comfortable with both the language in that contract and the work that we're doing. So I want to make sure that through these conversations, if there's something that you need from us, and even beyond this, that those lines of communication are open. I know that they have been, worked very well with your staff. They're amazing people. I enjoy our partnerships very much. I believe that we already do very good work together, and I think the building of this park will just only enhance that. So I did want to answer any of the questions that you do have over that agreement and see what I can do to make it more amenable to the town of Greensboro.
Well, I know that our attorney has been meeting with you and some of the people in the county have come back with an updated version of the agreement. So Lindsay, if you want to tell us what has changed in there, it might help.
Yeah, so at the last meeting, there was concern about when the county would need to make these capital contributions, or the risk of having a pothole or the road falling into disrepair and the county doing nothing about it. So I revised the agreement, so now the agreement says that Caroline County will make, these capital contributions and then define what capital contributions are, so it's repairing any necessary potholes, things of that nature, specifically calls out the culverts, which it did before, but any other drainage issues, so now it says that they shall do any capital contributions, and these are capital contributions. So it's not really, by their determination, of course, there has to be money in the budget, which there always has to be money for a government entity to make any capital improvement. But now contractually, we've just defined what a capital improvement is.
And it says that the county will pay those improvements in full.
Correct.
So the interview, does that answer the question that you may have had?
Yes.
And I think one of the other concerns, and you can probably shed light on this, was the entrance for the fire department, and they have met with the fire department and they've resolved any of those issues.
I think the issue for the fire department was something that we had talked about, but maybe that information wasn't necessarily conveyed with the concern over the gate and or when the fire department has big events, being able to close that gate and not access that roadway. And we certainly have no qualms with that because again, we're small and being able to support those events and the town of Greensboro events are as important to us as providing our own events. So at the county's expense, we will move and or adjust that gate as needed once we widen that road. At our expense.
So what do you need for us to do to approve this agreement?
Make a motion to approve the agreement, as long as you're comfortable with it, you don't have any additional questions.
Do we have one ready to execute or we just on that later down the road?
I don't have a copy,
Okay.
but I can, if you approve it this evening, I can send it to you tomorrow with the digital signature. It only has the mayor's signature, I believe, so I can have it digitally.
However,
sign it.
I mean, it's really, that was,
The
obviously,
process of
that was a
getting it
draft,
approved.
whatever it needs to look like on your end for signatures,
Okay,
I leave that to you.
yeah, so if you just make a motion to approve it, and then the mayor can sign it at a later date.
So we get to ask our questions?
Not generally, but if,
Thought that's why she was here.
I think she was here to answer questions of the council, but if you're comfortable answering questions,
I leave that to the discretion of council. I'm happy to answer questions.
Yeah, you have any other questions?
No, I'll turn it motion.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion to approve the road use maintenance agreement as presented.
All right, and that's with Caroline County, developing the roadway and improving the roadway at the North County Park, outside of Green. Is there a second to that, Rich?
I'll second it.
All right, any additions or corrections? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? 3-4-0.
Thank you very much. And I think it goes without saying, but I want to say it anyway. Simply because you're signing this agreement, this should not be the last conversation that we have about this project.
It won't.
I know, but I wanted to say, I wanted to formally say it. Not walking away with that signature from this project because again, we are partners in this project and happy to answer any questions that you might have if I gave you my card.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jamie.
Question they wanted to know, they wasn't even answered, so I'll get your card, thank you.
All right, the next thing on the agenda is the traffic signal at 313 and Sunset. We talked about it at the last meeting and there were some questions about how we could go about and what was gonna happen with that. So I reached out to one of my contacts in Chestertown, and the short version is that the change to the signal now requires an additional light pole that be put up alongside the roadway so that it is a dual light to meet federal standards. So in order to meet the federal standards, the state highway has to put in a request for the federal funding to do the project. So that request will be made, and whether or not we get the federal funding will come down from the federal government to the state, and they will let us know. So I don't anticipate that happening anytime in the near future, unfortunately. And when I talked to the representative from State Highway, I told him that we would be reaching out to our elected officials to see if anything that our senators and delegates can do to help along with this project. We'll get together and write a letter, to our delegates and to the senators and see if they can help us along with this project before somebody gets seriously injured or killed. Next on the agenda is the approval of the 2025 holiday schedule for staff. Have you all had the opportunity to review that? Is anybody opposed to the schedule? Then I'll look for a motion to approve the 2025 holiday schedule as presented tonight.
I'll make a motion to approve the holiday schedule for 2025.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed? All right, the council meeting proposed changes to that. We're looking at request of our town attorney. She now finds herself in a conflict with the staffing shortage in her department, building agency, however you want to say the right word, and asked if we would consider changing our meeting, a regularly scheduled meeting, starting next year to the third Thursday of the month instead of the first. And that the first meeting of the month would be a workshop if needed. I know the council previously voted to change starting in January, going back to the one regular meeting a month and one workshop a month as needed. So I will open that up for discussion among the council.
I'm fine with moving it to the third Thursday of the month, so that Lindsay can attend the meeting.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. As long as we still have the workshop, we just have the workshop on the first day. So basically, your budget proposed schedule with us, well.
Oh, I think the date should be okay. But not yet.
We don't need to take a vote on that, do we?
No, because you already have the meetings, you're just switching when
Correct.
the regular meeting and the workshop, and actually, it should work out better so that you can conduct more business, because there'll be longer time between the meetings, and if you use the first meeting as the workshop, then we'll have time to draft any legislation for the next meeting that you would need. So it kind of goes better order that way.
And as you go through your packet, you'll see under the town manager's report, the proposed schedule for next year. So I'll let her speak to that when we get to her.
Okay, couple things to start, Miss Jamie's 5-year anniversary, she's not been here now 5 years, so.
Real quick.
Yes.
If we could, even our department heads, if we could have you go up to the podium. Or grab the mic, whatever, yeah. I'll just want them to hear you that.
Should be on the
Be a mic break.
Should be on the
We're going right here.
Yes.
Okay, Jamie, I missed saying anything. She had her 5-year anniversary, in November, so like to recognize that. And Brandon is going to be completing his High Performance Leadership Academy tomorrow. And I can say that I've noticed a difference. He has done a fantastic job. I've got great feedback from the instructor, and he deserves a bit of a pat on the back.
Good job. Good job, Brandon.
ARPA updates, everything's going fine. We have a couple remaining contracts that I think the last one will be signed next week, so we're all good with having those funds extended. update for next door. It's officially on the market. If anybody hasn't seen the sign out front. And I have some proposed use of whatever the sale ends up being for you to mull over if you would. My proposal would be 10% to go towards any type of, like the hometown heroes flags, the the seasonal banners and stuff like that. Somebody had mentioned before, try to give a little bit of a facelift around town, maybe some flowers or greenery on the sidewalks or the light poles. Different things like that. And then I had 45% to go toward that and 45% to go towards a reserve. So nothing to decide tonight, just to think over.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So the sign over there that says town hall, that you're gonna remove, if we put it above this building, it violates our signage ordinance.
I'll have to ask Jamie on that one.
Yeah, just check.
Because
it
it's gotta
out.
be a certain size.
It's gotta be a certain size and it can't, for sure, but I was hoping you could just take that
That's
one
what I
down
was
and put it
hoping.
over here.
Okay.
I just checked, it's closed.
I thought you wanted to call it the municipal building, not just town hall.
More than they have to get a new sign anyway. I just, when I rode by the other day and saw it, I looked, I think it's closed. I actually think it's gonna be a violation.
Proposed FY 26 budget schedule, as we talked before, we want to start very early. So by January 9th, I will have the department heads submit their budgets to me. And then by January 16th, all of the first FY 26 proposed budget draft will be distributed to council for review. And then I have each month we'll have at least one workshop if needed, in addition to the regular council meetings. And I have tentatively scheduled, the public hearing would be May 15th. Of course, that'll be published, but just so we can have a bit of a heads up. Working on information for the water sewer rates and other questions that have been asked. So hope to have that out soon. It will be public.
Can you go back? Maybe help. I know that if we have the public hearing on May the 15th for the budget. And there are some comments or suggestions from the public that the council would like to take into consideration and make changes to the budget. That means that the budget wouldn't be able to be passed until the next meeting, which would be the third week in June, would not give us sufficient time for it to become official for 20 days. So I think that we should have the public hearing at the April meeting, so that we have time to review and make changes if the council would like to, and then look for the final approval on the 15th of May.
You could, or you could do what you've done in the past and have a separate special meeting just for the approval of the budget, if that were to occur. You could always plan for the 17th to be the public hearing, and then if for some reason the budget gets delayed, you would have the May 15th as the backup date.
Well, I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but I don't want to go through what we went through.
Yeah.
And I would rather have us push harder, in January, February, and March, and be
Yeah.
ready to present it to the public in April.
Mhm.
And then give us a month, if needed, to have that opportunity to make changes.
Yeah, you could
That'll make me more
also,
comfortable. It's up to the council, but
yeah, so you could also, last time, I think we ended up having 2 or 3 advertised public hearings. You could, in the April date or even earlier, have a proposed draft budget that is issued to the public. And then rather than having an advertised public hearing, you could have kind of like a mock public hearing on that draft budget. And then you would have time to finalize before the real advertised public hearing. That's an option too. It's not much different. You're just not paying to advertise.
Well, they had all the water and sewer public hearings, which was also, made it a lot more confusing on it for everybody.
Yeah,
And I don't anticipate having those this year, because I don't anticipate, changing the water sewer rates, at least not raising them. We can go with this, but I would like to, we can always modify it as we go along. We don't have to stick to it, but I don't want, the council, would you rather try to work towards having the public hearing at the end of April?
I would.
I would love that.
That way we got time if there's something that comes up, we got time to.
All right, so you try to make that change and then see if we can live up to it.
Will do.
Thank you.
Last thing that I have is Chief Trans got somebody at Wood Duck Academy. Apparently didn't even attempt to stop, so citation issued and one down in books.
You might have any questions for the town manager?
Tammy, just says budget workshop. We're not breaking the budget down so that at each workshop we discuss a certain portion.
No, we can, that's what
So
you
it
guys.
just makes it a little more user friendly.
Yeah.
Could you work in each department? We can work a section, sheets.
Well, when I change it for the April public meeting, I'll change those on.
Just a suggestion.
Mhm.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Town attorney?
I don't have any updates. I appreciate the consideration on the meeting change. Thank you.
You like keeping your,
Oh, do I need to repeat that?
no, yes. We're trying to be better in here.
I know, I spoke too quick.
That's okay. All right, public. Good place.
Just tap on should go.
Time down.
Oh, no. That's that one.
Here, can somebody help her?
Yeah, I.
Oh,
came in
I got it. I'm
quick.
sorry.
Here.
I'm gonna use microphone.
Okay, so on October 17th of this year, I gave a presentation regarding the dangers of water fluoridation and asked the council to look into what our town can do to end the poisoning of the public water supply. The council stated that they would speak with Susquehanna. Since then, I also followed up with the town hall manager regarding remediation techniques for groundwater contamination. I haven't really had a follow-up with that, but wanted to add that last week, the New York State Coalition Opposing Fluoridation reached out to me to inform me that for the added fluoride, which is clearly the case here since our ground levels are measuring 0.7 to 0.08, as shown in the test samples that were sent to me by TME, and our output from the water treatment facility are measuring anywhere from 1.1 to 1.5. So they reached out to tell me that all the treatment facility has to do to stop adding the fluoride is to push a button and stop adding the chemicals to the drinking water, and that was actually would save us thousands of dollars per year by removing the additional fluoride that's added into the water supply. So I know it's not supposed to be a question and answer thing, but I'm just gonna leave these questions here with you, and then whenever, if you guys wanna get back to me on that. So my questions were, has anybody talked to Susquehanna to have them stop adding the fluoride? Would you be willing to hold a vote to end the water fluoridation? I would also like to know if they're adding atropine to the water, because that's a whole nother slew of issues and things that could be toxic and dangerous. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about was the lead contamination. So I did get the letter. Well, several residents received the letter about the pipes. I'm still not 100% sure on how that works. I know that it said that you can reach out to get the assistance with that. but that mostly it was covering the town pipes, not residential pipes. And then I also just wanted to add to that, that I did notice that within the ARPA funds, they do stipulate that you can use some of those funds to help with that. So I didn't know if any of that funding had been set aside for that, if we could use that to help some of the residents who may or may not be affected by the lead pipes and lead contamination.
Oh, well, public answers.
So Dana, what I'd like for you to do is send an email to Tammy, the town manager, with your questions that you would like addressed, so we can get them back to you.
Correct.
That way it's in written format, so you got it, that you send it to us, and when we respond back, it's written down so that we know that you've been responded to. All right, with respect to the lead pipes, it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but, the federal government has issued guidelines for the lead pipes that are contained in pipes that are owned by the town. The pipes that go from the town pipe to your house, I don't think the federal government has yet decided on what, if anything, they're gonna require the property owners to do. So I've been told that decision has not been made yet.
Okay. So it's
So
just kind of,
that's kind of where we are.
okay,
We've been told we got to fix ours, but we don't know about from there to that.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's Mason?
Just in case.
I think the real question is, the question I have for that woman, since we can't ask her questions, is a contract that we're making with Caroline County, it should have a figure amount. That's what you guys all said last time, and that's what I think everybody wants. A contract is, you know, like she's saying, it's a partnership, whatever, that partnership needs to have a dollar amount. If we're setting aside a certain amount of money and something happens or whatever, if it's not written down, it never happened. I don't think, you know, we should take her word for nothing. I don't know her, I don't really care. But the bottom line is, if it's not in a contract, it's not written down, whatever, it just never happened. They can, and the other thing is like payment. Say we, you know, set aside $5,000 for improvements. They come back, hey, the partnership, you want to pitch in half, whatever. They say, you know, we don't quite have the funds or whatever. Do they have a 60-day period to pay us, or is it 90 days or a stipulation? Like, what actually is it? Again, that there's gotta be, I'm just asking the question. It's not a question answer session,
No,
but
I'm
I'm
happy to
just
answer it if
saying-
you want to answer.
yeah, there's gotta be something.
Yeah, so in the agreement, it says that Caroline County shall, meaning that they are required to make any capital contributions. And then I defined capital contributions shall mean any pothole, seeping, any stormwater repair that needs to be done, any culverts, or if the traffic conditions require widening of the road. And they agreed to it. So if there's a pothole and the town goes to them and says, this is the capital contribution and you need to fix it, and they don't, then they're in breach of the agreement.
Is there a dollar limit? Or is it just endless?
No, it's endless. I mean, they
Okay.
agreed to it,
Okay.
so,
I just-
yeah.
We wanted to get a number in there before. They didn't want to agree to that, but they agreed to pay for full. So that's even better.
We'll see. All right.
Thank you. Dale and Kim are, so I don't know which one.
I just had some things to present to the council for consideration. I kind of put out to the public an idea about having a YouTube channel that we could upload these meetings to, so that the public isn't confined to coming out in person or watching a live Zoom, something that they could go back and watch after the fact as they're available to. It was pretty well received. They liked the idea that they could go back and view after the fact. So that's just something to consider for the council. Another thing that I put out that was also pretty well received with a few concerns was a community citizen security patrol. Putting together some volunteers that could work with the local law enforcement with some training and background checks and stuff like that, to be qualified to be a volunteer, to ride around, identified with maybe a magnet or something saying that they're community watch, some signs throughout the town saying there's community watch in the area, just to kind of reduce, since we're having a police staffing issue too, I feel like it would be a perfect time for the residents to get involved, some people's concerns were vigilante type behavior, which I feel would be remedied by the correct training with the law enforcement. And it would obviously be a personal liability on them if they choose to go outside the perimeters of that training. And I didn't think it would be a bad idea for those same people to have dash cams in their vehicles that record both outside and inside their vehicles for additional protections. No, he said, she said type situations. So those are the two things that I had.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Denise. Denise.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I just basically wanted to come and give forth some information. Effective December 31st, I will no longer be the president of Greensboro Historical Society. The new president of the Historical Society will be Chad Dean. However, my original email, which is the first Black Press GHS@gmail, is my personal email address. So if anybody has questions, concerns, or need to reach out to me, that email address is still available. I still will be around in Caroline County because although I'll not be doing work in Greensboro, I'm stepping up my game and doing work for Caroline County overall. And I will be the vice president effective January 1, 2025 of Caroline County NAACP. Thank you. So, just wanted people to know that because I know some people will direct calling in the town hall, oh, send them to Venice, send them to Venice. January 1, no, I'll give you till January 10th. No, you do not send them to Venice. If they email me, text me, or call me, I'll help them out. I'm that type of person anyway, so it wouldn't matter. So you can still refer them to me. And I'll see what I can do for them, but Chad is more, of a historian than I am. So I believe as far as the historic side, he will win. So hopefully the events and different things that I started to bring to Greensboro and the outsiders will still continue once I'm stepping down.
Well, thank you for all you did for the
Yeah.
Historical Society. I know that's a huge task.
Yeah,
There's just not a lot of people involved and you get most of all the work done from your way, whoever the president is. So, thank you
mainly
for what you
me,
did.
mainly
Yeah.
me, yeah. But that's all I had, except for one other issue. I came to a meeting, Dave, when you were talking about the mold and asbestos report being made to the public one time. And I requested it in writing an email recently, a couple days. I sent it to the Greensboro, directly to Tammy, and directly to Jamie. So I asked that I get it by the 27th. So was that supposed to literally be put out to the public? Or did you have to specifically request it? Cause I already put
I
my
don't
request
remember
in
that particular
writing.
conversation.
You kind of blurted it out. I don't think you meant to say anything
Yeah,
about it.
well, I think that what I was trying to do was be transparent,
I understand.
with what we were having going on there.
Yeah,
And so what information we put out may be guided by, our lawyers.
right,
Or by workers' compensation. I
right.
would certainly think that any employee that used to work there during that time period would, be able to get some information, but it wouldn't be coming from me, so that's something you need to go through Tammy to get.
Okay, I already sent that information, so I'll look forward to getting it for the 27th.
Right, great.
All right, anybody have any questions for me? Cause I know how often I'll be here.
Thank you
Thank
again for your
Thank you.
service with the
You're welcome.
Historical Society.
No problem. Y'all have a good night.
Good luck. Town council remarks.
No, I'd just like to say happy holidays to everybody. I hope you have a safe and happy holiday and we'll see you in the new year.
I just want to thank the staff for Whoville. I did make it out there a couple of nights. Very nice. A little too cold for me. But thank you. Everybody have a good Christmas. Happy New Year.
Well, Ms. Ernest brought up about a YouTube channel. I don't know how the county does their meetings, but I know that my guys at work sit there and they actually watch previous meetings. So I think, I'll try to reach out. I work for them. I'll try to reach out, see what format they use. Because trust me, if they're using a format, it's gotta be cheaper than us having to subscribe to them. But I know the guys sit there and we watch previous meetings, because that's how we catch our bosses input.
From what I understand, you don't have to subscribe to YouTube. Some of the churches use it for their services.
I know dash cams automatically upload if you're in an accident. It just says unidentified video. So, but I'm just curious, because I mean, it's a neat concept and a lot of
Or it could
agencies,
even be on the town's Facebook page as well.
it's just a link.
I don't know if you can post like a live after the fact.
I don't know, but I would like to have a library where you could go back and watch previous meetings and not just the one that just ended.
Right.
And that, I know you can do that with the county, but I don't know what format they use.
You have to give your civic class.
But I will try to find out.
Okay, thank you.
Town of Easton recorded their minutes, and you can go, I mean, maybe you can go back and look at them, yeah, but they did it on their own system, is my understanding.
Yes, I'll ask the county to see what they do, how they do it.
Queen Anne's County does it also.
It would cut down on requests too for the time the town spends on requests. It would already be available.
Well, it's Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. We'll see you, make better changes in the new year.
Right. I don't have anything either other than a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and thank you all for coming tonight. I'll look for a motion to adjourn to go into closed session to just discuss personnel matters.
I'll make that motion to go, during our meeting, to go into closed session to discuss personnel matter.
Second? Second. Second, all in favor? Opposed? All right. We adjourn.
Now that we know.